Son of fallen officer, quickly reaches under podium. The mainstream media hates to see Donald Trump's upstanding moral behavior. They cannot tolerate his kindness. After 8 years of Obama, the police in our country have struggled to find kindness in the public's eye. However, during a recent speech for a fallen police officer, Donald Trump reached under the podium and passed the fallen officer's son a hat. How generous! The radical left and the mainstream media hate stories like this, despite the fact that their own politicians would never do something like this. Do you remember Obama acting this kindly? I don't. Obama was too busy golfing and vacationing. Did we even have a president for 8 years? Why was Obama so quick to ignore our police officers? There is a serious problem with the radical left. They are unable to appreciate our police and our military. They hate law enforcement because they break the law, routinely. We need to hold the mainstream media accountable for their lies. The mainstream media should be showing this softer side to Trump rather than their bizarre conspiracy theories. Why is the media so anti-American? After this recent presidential cycle, the media has proven they have no idea what they are talking about, and Donald Trump was quick to point this out. We aren't buying what the mainstream media is selling. Thank goodness we elected Donald Trump, so that he can support the families of our fallen law enforcement and military officers. We need to support these American heroes, and we need to help our veterans. Obama nearly destroyed our military with his toxic policies. Those were tough times, and he spread this hatred among his followers. The radical left hates our military and they really hate our veterans. I don't know why, but I would guess that they simply hate protection and liberty. Unfortunately, after 8 years of the Obama mess, our police officers are feeling demoralized. Obama regularly stirred up hate against police. Not anymore. With Trump in office, we will support our police, and we will support their families. We need more police officers in this country, and we need to support them with everything we've got. I feel sorry for the media. They are so lost in hatred that they cannot even report the truth anymore. Thankfully, we have people out there who are sharing stories like this. Trump is a good man, but the mainstream media refuses to acknowledge this. The media would rather call Trump a narcissist or diagnose him with some other nonsense. The radical left is just shameless. We need more conservatives in office that care about police officers, the military, and our noble veterans. We need less loony liberals and their anti-American. With only 8 words, Trump gave the Coast Guard the gift of a lifetime just minutes ago. The minute Trump said these 8-word yell, the Coast Guard immediately erupted. Trump fights back. President Trump bites back. He is not going to go down without a fight. President Trump delivered the commencement address on Wednesday at the Coast Guard Academy and Trump just went off on his critics in the news media. Watch what Donald Trump said below. Now I want to take this opportunity to offer you some advice. Over the course of your life you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve. You have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never ever give up. Things will turn out just fine. Look at the way I have been treated lately. No politician in history has been treated worse or more unfairly. You can't let them get you down. You can't let the critics and naysayers get in the way of your dreams. Hence Trump added insult to injury. I was not elected to please the Washington media. I was elected to please you, the forgotten man. Worst kept secret in Washington, Pence for president. Republicans are growing weary of Trump's dramatics. In hushed tones all over Washington, "That's okay, we've got Pence," is said more frequently with each passing day. Comparisons are being made between Mike Pence and Gerald Ford. Like Richard Nixon, Donald Trump has created drama and scandals since becoming president. Douglas Brinkley, a presidential historian at Rice University, stated Pence is much like Ford in temperament and personality. He doesn't have that acerbic side that Nixon and Trump had. Pence hasn't made enemies, doesn't say anything offensive, and is the one thing in this whole situation that is calming Republican nerves. Scandals are piling up on Trump, raising the possibility of President Pence. With a special prosecutor just being named, Republicans are hinting that an impeachment might not be so far-fetched. If what the New York Times reported is true, Pence is probably rehearsing, a House Republican who preferred to remain anonymous said Wednesday. It's just like Nixon. From the standpoint that it's never the underlying issue, it is always the cover-up. Eric Erickson, a strong never-Trumper, who had agreed to give the president an opportunity to prove him wrong, stated that it is time for Republicans to give up on Trump because they have no need for him with Mike Pence in the wings. Wanting Pence for president is not a new concept for conservatives, being the worst-kept secret at Washington. Pence has all of the qualities needed for the position, including that he is already familiar with the legislative process from his years in the House. When Pence joined the Trump campaign, he made it very clear that he was not trying to be president. He keeps a low profile and has shot down talk of that possibility all along. However, it was reported Wednesday that a new leadership political action committee, the Great America Committee, was formed by Pence in order to merge the Republican National Committee and his political operation. Trump wins right after Comey's secret letter was leaked. Trump just fired back with his secret weapon. These last few days have been very tough on President Donald Trump. The media has been working overtime to try and spin a nothing into something and get him impeached. Today, a new memo allegedly from James Comey's dinner with President Trump was leaked to the press by FBI agents. According to the memo, Trump asked former Director Comey to drop the investigation into Michael Flynn and Russia. In theory, this could be a smoking gun to impeach Trump on obstruction of justice. If it were the truth, Donald Trump decided to set the record straight by releasing his own official statement. The president has the utmost respect for our law enforcement agencies and all investigations. This is not a truthful or accurate portrayal of the conversation between the president and Mr. Comey. That's right. Trump's secret weapon is the truth. And to prove their point even more, acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe testified just last week to Congress that there has been no effort to impede our investigation to date. The sad part here is that the New York Times, who concocted these allegations, admitted that they never actually saw the memo that they were writing about. They claimed it was unclassified, but they still only got word-of-mouth confirmation from an unnamed source. Look, if these claims were true, it would be a big deal. However, this is the United States of America, where we believe you are innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. With no hard evidence, like this handwritten memo from James Comey for instance, there is no case here. We gotta share this out before the media's brainwashing of the American people is complete. Watch. Jesse Watters just cleared Trump's name with one sentence. Liberals are furious. Jesse Watters remains the voice of reason, dismantling liberal talking points with his characteristic wit. On a recent edition of the Fox News Roundtable discussion show The Five, Jesse Watters humiliated the Democrats by saying the only thing Trump has obstructed is Hillary moving into the White House. Additionally, in the short segment, Watters explains in more detail why the recent impeachment narrative is fake news. The liberal media has worked themselves into a fervor after the New York Times reported on the details of the mysterious journal of the former FBI director known as the Comey Memo. The Comey Memos are the personal ledger of James Comey. After meeting with President Trump, Comey would record the details of the meetings in his ledger to later share with his colleagues. According to the New York Times, and other liberal rags following in their footsteps, one meeting between Comey and the president in February ended with President Trump obstructing justice by asking Comey not to investigate General Michael Flynn. However, the details of the documents have not been confirmed. Even the New York Times reporter who broke the story has never read any of the memos himself. We are relying on the hearsay of hearsay. Even if the New York Times report is true, and, let's face it, the New York Times has done nothing lately to earn our trust, it would not amount to a crime. The president did not threaten James Comey. Even Comey admitted no crime was committed when he testified before the Senate on May 8, the day before he was fired. However, Jesse Waters did uncover the real reason why President Trump is being targeted by the media: he beat Hillary Clinton. It was obvious to all observers that the media was in bed with the Clinton campaign, and many so-called reporters broke out in tears on election night as their chosen candidate was obliterated in the Electoral College. The media hates President Trump because he humiliated them and revealed them as the frauds that they are. The media attempted to flex their muscle to win Hillary the election in 2016. They attempted to use their influence to defeat Donald Trump. They only succeeded in proving their irrelevance. Watch Mike Huckabee's daughter sets ABC reporter straight on Comey firing. During Thursday's White House media briefing, Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders sparred with ABC White House correspondent Jonathan Karl over the timing of when President Trump decided to fire James Comey as FBI director, and his conduct in doing so. Sanders calmly parried each of Karl's attempted gotcha questions. Karl, first of all, isn't it inappropriate for the President of the United States to ask the FBI director directly if he is under investigation? Sanders, no, I don't believe it is. Karl, one of these conversations the president said happened at a dinner where the FBI director, according to the president, was asking to stay on as FBI director. Don't you see how that's a conflict of interest? The FBI director is saying he wants to keep his job, and the president is asking whether or not he is under investigation? Sanders, I don't see that as a conflict of interest, and neither to the many legal scholars and others that have been commenting on it for the last hour. So no, I don't see that as an issue. Karl, but, Sarah, the other thing I want to ask you about is I asked you directly yesterday. Sanders, we're bumping up to 3, I think now. Karl, this is a different subject, related to Comey. I asked you directly yesterday if the president had already decided to fire James Comey when he met with the Deputy Attorney General and Attorney General. And you said number. Also, the Vice President of the United States said directly that the president acted to take the recommendation of the Deputy Attorney General to remove the FBI director. Sean Spicer said directly it was all him, meaning the Deputy Attorney General. Now we learn from the president directly that he had already decided to fire James Comey. So why were so many people giving answers that just weren't correct? Were you guys in the dark? Was the vice president misled again, as happened? Sanders, I know you'd love to report that we were misled and we want to create. Hold on, Jonathan. You guys, I let you finish and read off every single one of those statements. So unless you want to trade places, I think it's my turn now. I think it's pretty simple. I hadn't had a chance to have the conversation directly with the president to say. I'd had several conversations with him, but I didn't ask that question directly. Had you already made that decision? I went off of the information that I had when I answered your question. Sanders continued, I've since had the conversation with him, right before I walked on today. He'd been thinking about it for months, which I did say yesterday. Nobody was in the dark, Jonathan. You want to create this false narrative, if we want to talk about contradicting statements and people who are in the dark? How about Democrats? Boom. Mike Huckabee's daughter masterfully performed her role in patiently explaining to the process and timeline behind the president's firing of James Comey, while ABC's Jonathan Karl dutifully performed his role as de facto attack dog of the Democrats. Sanders then went on to give example after example of Democratic heavyweights savaging James Comey not so long ago. Several things become clear from the Sanders-Karl exchange: the mainstream media's extreme liberal bias, the Democrats' jaw-dropping hypocrisy, and that nothing rattles Sarah Huckabee Sanders.